Welcome to the My House Podcast, a show about the past, present, and future goings-on at the My House Youth Drop-In Center in Wasilla, Alaska, with your host, Michelle Overstreet. Welcome to episode 19 of the My House Podcast. I am not Michelle Overstreet. I am Isaac Smolden, filling in for Michelle today, and I am here with Melissa, who is our, job training coordinator? What's your official title?
My official title is actually business developer, but I supervise the training programs.
Okay, business developer, that's
yes.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for being with me here today. We just got through, I'll just jump into housekeeping really quick for myself. I'll throw it to me. We're through Radiothon, and that's kind of like our last big event that we're doing here for the rest of 2022. Obviously, with the holidays coming up, though, I will recommend a donation to the Matsu Food Bank or let people know that we have, actually, you're the perfect person to talk to about this. We have a Thanksgiving dinner that we throw the Friday, the day right after Thanksgiving, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So we're taking, are we taking volunteers or donations for that? Or?
Yeah, that's already organized. We always partner with the same church usually every year, and they donate the entire meal. And then we have random donors, which is really cool, that donate frozen turkeys that we cook as well.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're looking for frozen turkeys. Bring us frozen turkeys, I guess, for that. And stay tuned for more announcements about Christmas stuff. We always are looking for donations of people that can buy gifts for our clients as well around the holidays.
Yes.
Okay, well, then let's just jump into our main topic, Melissa. How did you start to work at Nine House? I know you used to work for Nine Star for a little bit, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I actually started, I was getting my degree a little late in life, and I did an internship here through EUAA in my associate degree in human services. And then I got associated with Nine Star while I was in the internship, and I was hired that fall as a youth employment specialist.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I did that for a couple of years.
That probably makes it easier now to do everything on the business development and job training side because you already have that intimate knowledge of working for Nine Star, and now you're working with Nine Star with a lot of our clients.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. It gives me an advantage for sure.
Well, I also heard, I guess before we really dive into the meat and potatoes, we were talking a lot about music, or at least people were saying I should ask you a lot about your music tastes and your music opinions jumping into today's episode. Music. How do you feel about it?
Music is my coping skill. So that's what I use. That's what's always been my passion. I love talking about it just for fun. I love giving quizzes, and I'm getting older. So there's a lot of, and I work with a lot of younger kids now that are 18 that were born now in 2004. The 18-year-olds are. So yeah. I find as I get older, I have to do a little more work to, educate people about old music. So I enjoy that. I don't know if they do, but I do enjoy it, talking about old bands and stuff.
What genre do you listen to usually?
Usually rock and roll, but I like all genres, but if I had to pick one, it'd be rock and roll for sure.
Do you listen to like a lot of the new stuff to try to relate that back, or do you stick with mostly the classic stuff? No,
I like the classic stuff.
Strictly classics.
For the most part, yes. Sometimes my kids will introduce new music to me, and it's cool, and I like it, but it's far and few. My oldest child is 28. Okay. So he will definitely try to introduce me to some new music sometimes.
We were talking about Snoop Dogg on the way in
yes,
here. Are you a big Snoop Dogg fan?
Yes, I'm a big Snoop Dogg fan, yes.
I didn't know that about you.
Yes.
He does a lot of work on the side. You were telling me that he has Snoop Loops are coming out. Not a sponsor. It could be a sponsor though.
Right.
Email us.
Right. Yeah, we could have a new sponsor here. Yeah, he's making a new cereal called Snoop Loops, and actually a whole new line of breakfast products like pancakes and cereal, and he named it after his mom, and it's called Mama Snoop. And the cool part about this is that the entire proceeds, or a percentage of the proceeds go to a nonprofit, a homeless place in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's
pretty cool.
Snoop, reach out. I love your wine, 19 Crimes.
Yeah.
Big supporter.
There you
also,
go. Yeah, you schooled me on that, so I appreciate it.
Also, his music is pretty good too.
It is.
I dabble with the Snoop Dogg genre every now and again, although it was a little before my my time.
Right.
So.
I'm reminded of that too, how old that we all are together. So it helps to be old with Snoop Dogg, I guess. It helps you cope with getting older, that he's the same age as me.
Is he actually?
I think it's pretty close,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, well, I guess getting back to what you do here. So we talk a lot about, especially I feel like early on in this podcast, a lot about what we do here and what the process is. And we've talked with a lot of our employees and a lot of our partners about walking clients kind of through their journey here at my house. So let's say we have a client that comes in and they talk to 9-Star and they end up going with an internship route here at the building, whether that's with the cafe, the boutique, or redemption now. Mm-hmm. What is kind of your role with our clients? How do you walk them through that process and work with them?
Yeah, so it's really cool. I work directly with the 9-Star employee here, and she kind of screens them at first, right? So we know their needs to begin with and tries to figure out if they're going to be a good fit for the cafe or the boutique. And so then she'll ask me, hey, I think I have a good candidate, and I'll sit down, do a little bit of an interview background, and find out if they qualify, if they're going to be a good placement for them. You know, if it works out best for them is kind of the way I like to go about that. Whatever's going to be for their best interest to succeed after they're out of our program is what I like to imply.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. What's like the biggest difference between the cafe and the boutique, do you think? Like
Right. Yeah, that is a big difference.
Wise.
Yeah.
I mean, you're both working with, it's both customer service a lot,
right.
which is great. I mean,
right.
Frankly, I think everyone should have that background. I worked like a service job for 3-4 years or so before I started working here, and you learn a lot. I think the biggest thing you learn is just patience with people at your job when you're already frustrated with job stuff, and then you have a customer. You know what I hate is the customer is always right, and I understand why the phrase comes around, but sometimes the customers are wrong, but
right.
you can't tell them that.
Right.
So how does that differ? How do those two businesses differ from each other?
Right. It's really cool you're talking about customer service, because I do a whole training just about customer service. It's called Alaska Host Job Training, and it's through the state of Alaska. And customer service is where it's at. It's all about that. And when you can learn that, and you can learn those skills to take control, be professional, and make it all about the customer, and it can be challenging at times, but you can take that for the rest of your life. You're going to use those skills no matter what you do. You're going to go to college. As you get older, with your family, communication skills, all those things fall through with good customer service skills when you learn them. So that's the same in both of the businesses. However, one's food handling, which is a whole nother level of qualification, right, which requires a food handling card, which you can also go up to a CFPM, which is a kitchen food protection management card. So that's a whole different skill set, and you have to have someone that's really passionate about working in food.
Yeah.
They'll tell me straight up, hey, I don't want to work in food, so I appreciate that, because I don't want you to work in food either if you don't want to, because that's dealing with a lot more rules. The boutique is a lot more sorting clothes, customer service. You don't have to get messy, so to say, with food. So,
right.
So that's basically the difference, just working with non-food stuff versus working with a whole level of rules in kitchen management and proper food handling.
I'd say, like, because I worked at a couple of restaurants and I worked delivery, and I liked every day is a little bit different when you're doing food service stuff. Sometimes you have a slow day, sometimes you have a fast day, sometimes you're always making different orders or stuff like that. And I think, like, with the boutique, I think I would probably fit into the cafe side more. With the boutique, It's a lot more monotonous, like not necessarily in a bad way. It's just very structured, and your day-to-day is a lot more similar, whereas the cafe, you kind of never know exactly what you're going to get. You have to be able to respond to circumstances a little quicker as they come around. And so I think it's, the more I think about it and talk about it, I think it's good that we have those two businesses in specific, because it really does allow two different personality types to thrive in one way or the other. Some people are better at thinking on their feet and like a little more chaos, and some people kind of just want to be able to do their thing and have that structure, and they work really well in that position. So I I mean, intentionally or non-intentionally, I think we've done a really good job of cultivating that environment.
I agree. That's a great observation. You're exactly right. The cafe is so unpredictable. You never know how it's going to go day to day. You never know what kind of customers you're going to get, how many you're going to get. We have different events we cater to too as well. Fundraiser events we help out with, local community events that we partner with when we provide the food, whereas the boutique is very predictable as far as reacting to donations and things like that. It's not as the same scale as the boutique, for sure. I mean, as the cafe, I'm sorry.
Well, you also do a lot of work on the business development side, which is a lot more number crunchy, it seems like. How did you get into that side of things? I mean, that is
new to me.
It ties in, but it's
I'm
vastly
learning a lot
different
still.
than job training. Still.
It is. It's very challenging because when you put a for-profit in with a nonprofit, it's a whole different animal, and that's kind of like where the grassroots movement is in this nonprofit, and I love that kind of stuff. So I'm always up for a challenge. I'm learning about how that is working still, and it's interesting. So have I figured out a great formula that works for that yet? No, absolutely not. But it's interesting, and it's very challenging, and it's just a work in progress, for sure. All the number crunching and things like that.
Yeah. We talk a lot about how job training is such a key aspect of the wraparound services that we offer here. You've been able to work with so many clients. How many years have you been working here just on the business development side of things? At least a couple now, right?
It'll be 2 years in April.
Okay.
Of 2023.
And then you were here with 9 Star for how many years before that?
For 2 years, and then I did a half a semester of internship.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you've had time to work with a lot of clients that have come through here in that time.
Yes.
What's your take on the job training aspect of the wraparound services? What do you see that's an example of how important it is to people's journey as a My House client?
So important to their journey. It's their first step into taking off to their next goals. So when they walk in and they need the housing, right? And you can say, hey, we can put you in housing and you can have a job like starting Monday, and say it's Friday. You can start all of this on Monday. That alone is a huge stepping point. You've just provided them with basic needs in an hour or so.
You meet like that whole bottom side of the Maslow pyramid.
So all those, exactly. So all those keys are set right there for the foundation. And the internship usually lasts about 90 days. And usually, most of the time, they don't even make it through the 90 days. They're off to their next job because you've given them those basic needs and they want to go to the next level. But sometimes they need the 90 days. And that's great for us too. We benefit from that.
Yeah.
So because I like them around as long as possible, selfishly. However, I'm happy to see them go on and fly away and come back and tell me about their next job that they got. And it's really cool.
There's kind of a contradiction there on the job training side versus the business development side, where you need to keep your employees around so your businesses can run. But on the other hand, the ultimate goal is for them to phase out and move on and have a job in the quote unquote real world. So
yes. And then I see them out in local businesses, and it's so cool. I know a client that is in the dental field now, and it's just like, wow, I'm just so amazed by it. I'm so proud of that individual for being there, and it's so cool to say, hey, I remember, I know. But also, we have permanent staff in both businesses that were clients to begin with, and that's another thing I love about both the businesses, because they are peers to the clients as well, and so they have a lot more to help. They provide a lot more advantages, and they can say, hey, I've been there, I've been you.
Yeah.
And now I'm managing the boutique, or now I'm managing the cafe.
Yeah, that's got to be a fun, maybe sometimes a challenging experience, because on one hand, they're a former client, now they're an employee. There's boundaries there, there's challenges there, but talk to me about that whole aspect, because it is really cool, and it's always awesome when we have someone that one day they're a client, and then the next day, maybe they're still a client when it comes to case management as far as they qualify for services.
Right.
But now they're also your coworker, and they ride that line between being peer-to-peer for our clients, but they also are still, they're also our peers as employees. So
Yeah.
And there's like four of them right now or something like that
Right.
fill that category. It's really cool.
So that's definitely a next level up of being grown up, and going to that professional level. And that's fun to see that growth too. And it's not always easy for them to go from convincing that individual that, yes, you have what it takes to be a professional. Yes, you have what it takes to work as a equal staff member here. And it's sometimes it's definitely a work in progress. However, when it's established, it's really cool. And it's different for each individual. And we also work in a recovery program. So sometimes individuals will come back into our program as staff, and that's what we do here because we are in the recovery program. So we are here when they need us again. And every time it gets a little like there's more growth, there's more responsibility, and
Well, I think I wasn't going to get into any of the names of our current like managers that are clients, but I think that Kurt is actually probably a really great. I don't mind throwing Kurt out, Kurt's name out
for sure,
because he was receiving services and then he was cafe manager, and now he's moved on, which is you probably don't want to be cafe manager until you're 50,
right, exactly.
Like it's good for a couple years, and then you kind of have to take that next step. We talk a lot about position improvement, is what Jim has been kind of
they're all stepping stone,
around. Right? And
roles.
now Kurt comes back from being a cafe manager, and now he's peer support again, and that is a job that and then who's to say maybe he becomes case manager. Maybe he moves up when one of our employees retires or something like that. But it's all about climbing that ladder, right?
And yes, and there's a strength and the role that they play for clients that come back that were here when I was here in 2014 or 2015. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, Kurt, how are you doing?" They went to school together or whatever, and they have this. They can already relate and come in and feel at home still when Kurt is still here.
Right.
It's really it's kind of like a family feeling, just like my house, It really creates that my house feeling, or they want to sit down for supper club that day and visit with Kurt and connect again and say, "Hey man, I've been working construction for the last 5 years or whatever. I remember when I came in." So I love that about what we do.
I want to talk about supper club really quick because this is like the number one thing that if people kind of ask me for like a picture of what we do here, I'm always talking about supper club because to me, it perfectly exemplifies like our mission statement of hand up and not a handout while still meeting people where they're at. I mean, we have hot supper at 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. There's no strings attached to it. If you're in our age range, you can come, you can get a hot meal, but then all around you at all times, we have that network of support. We have our clients talking about things back and forth, and we have every service that we provide right there if you want access to it. Like all you have to do is take that first step. And you're a big part of coordinating that. So give me some of the details on it.
I 100% agree with you. That's the heart of what we do. Supper Club, everything revolves around Supper Club. When you can provide a hot meal with no questions asked, that's how they come in and they sit down at a table that they probably haven't done in a long time, maybe if ever, with people and share a meal together. So that works with local volunteers. Right now we have a couple of regular volunteers, and we also partner with the Lutheran Church in Wasilla, Good Shepherd, and they have a program over there that they run with volunteer seniors with the food pantry, which is really one of my favorite partnerships. So they cook the meals on Thursdays and Fridays. They're everyone's favorite. Everyone loves them. They cook plenty of food, and they always have a great dessert. They have a person that does the desserts and decorates for the holidays. The kids love it. And then we have other volunteers throughout the community. And then at least once or twice a week, the cafe staff actually cooks Supper Club. And we have a partnership with an individual who donates fresh salmon, believe it or not. And so once a week we have fresh salmon and rice that the cafe actually prepares. And I think that's one of the favorite things that the staff does when is make Supper Club. They really enjoy making it. It's a well-balanced meal, vegetable, protein, and a side dish, potatoes, rice usually.
Some sort of carbs in there.
Some sort of carbs. That's what I was going for. Thank you. Isaac, thank you. Yes. And and it's everyone's participating in it. Everyone looks forward to it every day. And usually we have a couple staff sitting around at the table too, talking to youth, and we engage a conversation.
Yeah, I really appreciate that aspect of what we do, because it's critical. You have to, and I feel like some individuals or organizations in the homeless services industry, they catch a lot of flack where for people perceiving them just giving away, enabling. I feel like we talk about enabling a lot in the homeless services industry and it's not even necessarily an issue that's slated to one side of the political spectrum or the other. But I think that we're a great example of how you can help people and meet them where they're at and provide something that is going to keep them. I don't consider it enabling if you're allowing someone a great grace is something we talk about, and compassion a lot as well, right?
Right. Yes.
You're providing them an opportunity to jump into that network of love and support, and even though there's no strings attached to get the meal, if you come into the building for 2 weeks straight and you see the progress that everyone else around you is making, that's your motivation and your drive to do the same with their staff.
You're providing them a safe space, and everybody deserves to be in a safe space. And they might not have experienced a safe space in a long time or if ever. And whether that's a meal or whatever, you're with people, you're in a safe place. And that is going to be motivation to go to the next step. Maybe they're going to come in 3 or 4 times. Maybe it's going to take them a couple of weeks to come to Supper Club. And then they're going to be like, wow, this place is pretty cool. And everybody's talking about this job at 9 Star, this internship. Look at that guy over there. He said he used to be coming to Supper Club, and now he's the manager of the boutique. So then there's a trust developed. And without that, I don't think that youth would trust us, and that's what we want them to know. You do have a safe space here.
Yeah. I mean, and especially this time of year, I'm glad we're having this conversation now because, it's about to be, like we said in housekeeping, it's about to be Thanksgiving. It's about to be Christmas time. And this is really, I feel like on one hand, this is where organizations like ours get a lot of publicity because everyone's in the giving spirit and they want to, to help people that are less fortunate than themselves.
Yes.
And there's a lot of cliches about, we're always seeing the videos where like, we gave this person a pair of socks and they're so thankful for the pair of socks. But we always do the Christmas gift request forms for our clients. And Michelle, I just heard Michelle talking about this the other day. She said that a lot of our clients will still put out like, I want underwear and socks for Christmas, which as an adult, I totally understand because socks are like my new favorite thing to get for Christmas because I do always need more socks.
Right.
But not only do we have the opportunity to provide, what you need for Christmas, like, and the food aspect of everything, the meals and the necessities, but then we also get to ask our clients, like, what do you want for Christmas?
I love that.
And that brings such a sense of normalcy where it's not like, here's your obligatory homeless socks for Christmas that we have 1 million pairs of because it's Christmas time.
There's a hygiene pack that everyone else gets.
Right. But it's also like, hey, you're part of our family. Like here's the thing that you actually want for the holidays. Like I just love that so much. And again, I get a little frustrated with the enabling thing or the handout thing because it's not about it totally is that's the whole point of the holiday season, right? Is you're freely giving and you're freely getting gifts and time and attention and love just because you're a person and there's that person to person connection. So, and this will be my first time as a staff member for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I'm really looking forward to, I think that's why I've been talking about it so much lately with people is I'm really looking forward to this time of year just because it's so much more than just here's your obligatory Christmas socks, which we're still going to give you because we do have clients that need socks and underwear. And it's great that we get those donations.
Yeah,
but we're able to do so much more too.
Yeah, and when you've been living in survival mode, I can relate to that because I have definitely, I think we all are here. We can all connect with youth. We all have some type of experience we've had, whether it be younger kids or whatever. I'm one of those same people. And when you've been living in survival mode, especially at a very young age, when someone actually asks you, what do you like? Sometimes that can be the first time someone asks you that you're allowed to like something. You're allowed without feeling selfish. I actually do like that type of clothing, or I do. I've never had perfume before, or those shoes. I really love those shoes, but I've never even thought about that I even deserve them. You're validating that. Yes, you are worth it. You do deserve it. If you like this, you deserve to have it. Someone cares enough to know that they want to give it to you and make you feel validated that way. So I think that's a really important piece, and I'm glad you mentioned it too, where when you can get them to have these growth and development in a healthy environment, then it adds to their success when they leave our program because they've had these experiences and they're like, wow, I'm worth it.
Yeah.
I'm good enough. These people thought I was good enough,
And tying into that, we talk a lot, not just during the holidays, but all year with our clients about what do you, that question of that we all get, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm reminded of something that Bert Cottle, who recently passed away, said when he was on this podcast, was no one when they're in elementary school says, oh, I want to be a homeless kid when I grow up.
Exactly. Perfectly said.
And so that idea of we care enough about you to actually want to give you that hope and that drive to look forward and say, what is your passions? And I kind of heard you talking about that when it's as simple as determining what's better for you, the cafe or the boutique. And then you're able to have that conversation with them that is to the next level. Like, what do you want to do when you're graduated from this internship? What field do you want to go into? And that's another thing that strikes me of just being so important, because it gives you that next step and that next goal that our clients can be looking to.
And they're hearing, we value you as a community member. When other people in the community are saying, we want to do this for this person, that's a message they're getting. Wow, I didn't realize I was so valued in this community. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that we're probably coming up on time at this point, and I know that you have to get back out and get back out to the office, because we do have clients that are working here today. Sure. But I'll ask you one more question, and it's just what gets you up to come in every morning to work and do what you do here for the organization?
Well, I feel so lucky to work in such a grassroots movement. I love chaos. I love changing schedules every day.
So you're a cafe person, is what you're saying.
Right. I love to react to different situations, but most of all, it's the youth. I can relate. And I feel like I'm giving back a little bit. I feel, like I said, it's a privilege to be where I'm at in my life, to be able to have a job with people who are actually have the same feelings in their job and why they're here. We can all relate to that, right? And we're all kind of equal here, about the youth. And that's what gets me here every day, because I know everyone wants to be here. And I learn something new every day from a youth. Every day I learn something from them. And I feel growth myself. And that's always changing, because we're always getting new youth in here.
Yeah.
So I love it. I'm always learning something. And I don't think I could get that from any other job.
Well, thank you, Melissa, for talking with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me
today. And I will wrap us up by saying that's all the time that we have today. I would like to, again, thank Melissa for being here. The My House podcast is recorded at the My House studio in Wasilla, Alaska. Our producer and editor is myself, Isaac Smolden, and for Michelle Overstreet. Until next time.